Welcome in, everyone. This is something I've never before attempted. That is a live All-22 film breakdown for reasons that will become apparent shortly. Those of you that have followed a lot of my work, you've seen me do breakdowns with Johnny on our podcast on the Shane page, and those are things that I'm doing. You guys don't see it live. I'm doing it live on the podcast with Johnny, but I've run through those plays and mapped out what I want to say beforehand. And generally, it's after I've recorded my All-22 videos for Bleeding Green Nation. So I've got a pretty good scripted thing of what I want to talk about. And that's not going to be the case in this video because I want to talk about how to beat the Blitz. And I want to talk about how to beat the Blitz while looking at plays that I didn't just watch and I didn't already break it down and know all the answers to, because I think that can be instructive to how you work through this process. So full disclosure, I've seen these plays before. I watched the All-22 yesterday, and when I record plays for All-22, I just file them in the order they happen. So like I'd put like 0-1 for the first offensive play I record and a keyword like Blitz. And so I just went through and I grabbed plays that I tagged for offense as Blitz, put them in a video, have not rewatched them. We're going to talk about them as I sort of see them. So I can just tell you what I'm looking at, what I think they should be looking at pre-snap. So I had 4 such plays tagged as that. I didn't want to include the last one because I knew that was the Marcus Mariota pass. So let's dive in. You guys can hop in the comments here and I can put in comments. I can try to answer them as we go. But here we go. Here's the first play. And so when I look at this play, I just tell you what my process is as we look at it here. So we've got 4 guys deep. Right? We've got 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. I think that's the math. Yeah, 7 guys rushing. So there are 7 potential rushers on this play. I'm looking over here to the side because that's where. Oh, hold on. I don't have my screen shared correctly where you can see my drawings on the screen. Okay, now you guys should be able to see my drawings. So there are 4 guys deep. There's 7 potential rushers. How many guys do we have in the protection potentially? We've got 5 offensive linemen in the back. So we have 7 potential rushers. We've got 6 potential blockers. That means we're a hot alert. There is somebody the quarterback has to account for. And so if I'm looking at this play, I'm setting this up and I'm saying, okay, it's pretty obvious to me. This is the guy that we're worried about, right? He can't be blitzing. None of these guys can be blitzing. So if I'm setting up this protection, I'm going to block Kelsey straight up. We're going to block like this. We're probably going to block like this. Kenny Gainwell takes the first guy off the edge. If both guys come off the edge, we're hot. What's our answer if we're hot? The quarterback has to make somebody miss. In this situation, he's got to account for someone. I mean, this one's as clear as day. If both of these guys blitz, what's going to be wide open? Put Dallas Goedert on a slant route. Now, how can this fall apart? Well, it could fall apart if one of these stand-up linebackers drops right into this slant route. Okay, so we've got to be aware of that. We got to get the ball out quick. Dallas Goedert needs to be looking at that. Jalen Hurts needs to see that. You should be able to get this slant in here. Alternatively, if you don't want it to be Dallas Goedert, you want to get a little more width, you could have your outside receiver run this slant route, and it makes it harder for one of these guys to get there. Either way, slant route at the top of the screen, easy way to beat this if it comes. Let's roll the tape and see what the Eagles do. Okay, yeah, so we're right. They're coming off the top of the screen. Now, just look. What did I say the solution is? Slant route. Can you see how wide open this would be? Or if you didn't want to do it with Goddard, we do it with him. Can we see how wide open this would be? Instead, okay, so we've got 55 bailing off the line trying to carry Dallas Goedert vertically. In this case, it would even be more ideal. This is a zone pressure, not a man pressure. It would be even more ideal if we just had him on a streak route here. But you didn't know that before the snap. So unfortunately, with my play, we're throwing the slant right here, and Dallas Goedert only has 15 yards of space to the nearest defender. The Eagles have nothing, though. There's nothing here. Hurts rolls out, throws the ball away. It's unacceptable. So we look from the back view again. It's easier to see the protection I was talking about. So you could set this protection up a lot of ways. Again, somebody's going to be free. I would kick us out like this. Gainwell across, picking up the inside man. If they both come, we're hot. You could also have Gainwell and Kelsey take these linebackers, and you could kick it out, and you could give Lane the MDM, the most dangerous man. He's taking the inside guy. There's different ways you could do this. That's protection stuff. I'm worried more about the routes behind it thing. But you can see he's coming, and there's just no answer. Now Hurts is able to get outside the pocket because Hurts is athletic. That's a very low percentage pass. That's a loss. Got a comment. What is Olamide Zaccheaus doing on the outside? It looks like he just stands there. Let's go back and look at it. So Olamide Zaccheaus he motions out, and that's a way to put horizontal stretch on the defense. Unfortunately, the Eagles don't do anything else with motion. Like you could get him on this little motion, this speed out motion to run a wheel route. Now you don't need to scheme up a free release because they're giving free releases here anyways. But this, honestly, it's just to me, this is just a motion for the point of motion, and it doesn't really have anything in the offense. He's just there. It's to try to get some sort of horizontal stretch. And again, you could say Hurts should throw this ball to him right now, and maybe that's true, but this play schematically is just bad. If you get the ball to Olamide Zaccheaus here, maybe he can get that first down. He's got a guy coming on him, but I just think that's bad design personally. So that's the first play. You guys feel free to drop comments. I'll try to address them in between plays as we go. Let's get to our second play. Okay, so on our second play, this isn't an obvious this isn't an obvious hot situation. So you've got 4 guys on the line. You've got 2 linebackers. You got a slot corner that could potentially blitz, but he's probably not blitzing because there's nobody over him. If he was going to blitz, you would have probably the safety kind of in this area, capping him over this defender. So we can probably eliminate him as a blitzer, which means we have 6 potential blitzers. We've got 5 in protection. We've got a back. We don't have to be hot here. We can block the back. We can be worst case scenario 6-on-6 protection unless there's a blitzer coming from extreme depth. We get this guy flying downhill to blitz. We're not really worried about that. So we don't have to be hot here. However, looking at this play, look at the body language. I think this guy's coming. He's leaning forward. We've got a safety. This is what I'm talking about, capping this defender. He's off. We could just be spinning to single high zone coverage, bringing this guy down into the flat, playing some sort of cover 3 where this is a hole defender, but he's leaning forward a lot. It looks like he either wants to hit Goddard or he wants to blitz. So run whatever play you want. I would just have a side adjust built into this play to tell Dallas Goedert, if this guy lined up across from you blitzes, just turn around. You could run this, you could run this on a slant. You could call it a curl. You could just call it a run your route, run straight up the seam, but be looking over your shoulder. Don't stop, and you can catch this ball. But I'm sure the Eagles aren't going to do that. Again, you don't have to be hot here. Yeah, look, this guy's coming. We can see it already here at the snap of the ball. So look if we did what I said. Hurts is opened up this way. Imagine Goddard is taking one more step and looking over his shoulder, and the ball is on him. You throwing right now, the ball is on Goddard right now, and he's moving full speed ahead at a safety at what? Let's call this the 29-yard line. So he could catch the ball right here, moving full speed at the safety. Maybe he breaks a tackle. He's good at breaking tackles. We could maybe get a big gain here. Instead, it looks like he's throttling down. Yep, we run the out route. So what I said is we're catching the ball at the 29-yard line. Let's go back here. I said we're catching the ball at the 29-yard line with a full head of steam, 6 yards from a safety, and maybe we can break a tackle and get big yards after the catch. Instead, we don't build anything like this in. We're running an out route, which works. And again, we don't have to be hot here. We don't. We've got this blocked up. But we throw this out route, and now instead of catching it at the 29 with 6 yards of space, we catch it at the 29.5 with no yards of space, and we're moving backwards. Again, like you could be in a lot better situation there. That one's at least not just a loss, though. Okay, let's look at another one here. Got a comment from Sean on Facebook, says Hertz can't read the blitz, one read and he rolls out. I would argue, and I'm going to through this video, that he's not given the opportunity. The structure is not there for him to be able to do that. But okay, here the Eagles were in a 3-by-2, and they're going to motion to change the passing strength. So our key thing we want to watch here is this guy is running with him when we change the passing strength. That tells us man coverage. Now, it doesn't have to be man coverage. It could be zone coverage, and you have to account for that. It could be zone coverage where we're just flipping our passing defensive strength as well. But if we look at this, we've got a safety deep. There's nothing this guy can really do except play a deep zone. He can't get attached to a defender. Okay, that's not true. He could step down and he could play a whole zone, but this guy's in zone coverage either way. So this is either cover 1 man blitz, or we could bail into cover 3 and not blitz. It could be some sort of fire zone blitz, which is a 3 deep, 3 underneath. So there's two blitz options. It could be a man blitz, a zone blitz. So let's just have options for those. Okay, so what's a great play that can beat both? I really like mesh sit wheel, right? So we run our mesh routes here, our shallow crosses. Have these guys do your little high five thing, right? And so if we do this against man coverage, we're rubbing these guys off. We're going to get somebody open, right? And then we can pair this with the sit route over the ball. And we've got our motion coming. Get this on the wheel. Okay. And then you can do whatever you want with this route. Maybe you tag on like a backside dig. So let's say we dialed this up. Now, this is 5-on-5. We can block this up. We don't have to be hot here, but it's 5-on-5. We've got answers. If it's man coverage, our mesh routes should be really good. Our wheel route can work. If it's zone coverage, we're stretching this zone, and we've got the sit route over the ball. We could maybe try to throw a dig route. If it is a single high safety zone look, we can run this dig underneath. We're occupying the underneath defenders. So against man, let me draw this this way. Against man, we've got our red routes. And against zone, we've got our dig route, and we've got our sit route. If this is zone coverage, we're stretching the middle of field zone defenders. Are they going to sit on this sit route? Are they going to sink to this? We can throw the sit. So this is workable. Let's see what the Eagles do. Okay, so it is just a 5-man blitz. It's zone coverage, or excuse me, it's man coverage. So now we know we're going to run our mesh concept, right? And we're going to get these guys open by interfering with the routes. This is the dislocated finger play. So what do the Eagles do? The Eagles try to run crash, which is the in route and the corner route. The problem being your primary on this is right here, and it's not your wide receiver 1 or 2. Then you want to go to this corner route, and this corner route's kind of deep. The offensive line really messes up this protection. We've also got Julio Jones here running a sit route against man coverage. Like a sit route against man coverage will never be open. Kenny Gainwell's just motioning over here because the Eagles, when they motion, they don't do so with a plan. And then the Eagles don't block this up well. Jalen Hurts gets hit as he throws. It's a disaster. Let's see what went wrong from a protection standpoint. We've got 58 looping, and Kelsey tries to get to him. Yeah, that's just bad. Like, we need to be passing this off when we get this looper. I would say this is on Jordan Mailata. Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson probably need to exchange this here. It looks like the Eagles want to have Kelsey use his athleticism and just get outside. You could do it that way, but he gets caught up. So that's poorly executed up front. it could have also just been drawn up a whole lot better on the chalkboard, in my opinion. Got another comment on Facebook here before we get into our last play. You guys drop comments, questions if you have them. I'll try to answer them. Why can everybody see the issues, but Brian Johnson can't? It's like he makes zero, I think that's supposed to say, adjustments. I posted a thread about this on Twitter. I really think this is a schematic thing from the top down. I think the Eagles think that they can hunt big plays against the blitz. And to a certain extent, that's true. If you don't have, if you're rushing extra guys, if you can make that guy miss, like here, let me run back to this first play. Hurts makes this first guy miss, right? He gets away from the free runner and gets outside the pocket. And now all of a sudden you've got numbers to push the ball downfield. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. The Eagles are bad at scramble drill, and you can't live outside of structure. You just need to have structural answers. And so I think that's honestly the biggest problem for this team when it comes to dealing with the blitz. So let's get into the last play here. Again, so we can look at this. Who are the potential blitzers here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 on the line. We've got 6. This guy could also be a blitzer. And that's really it. You could do something like super funky where we bring an extra guy off of this side, but then you'd have 2 free receivers. That's probably not going to happen. The Eagles have, they also have 6 on the line here, plus 1 in the back. So you don't have to be hot here. If you want to max protect, you can guarantee that you've got the right number of bodies. But let's think about what this could be. Again, we've got a single high safety. So we can be cover 1 man. We could be cover 3 zone where we're bailing out. We've got a deep zone. We've got a flat route. We've got a flat, and we've got, some combination of 2 guys bailing off, or we can be in some sort of fire zone blitz. So again, there could be 2 different blitz options here. So let's think through the options. What do we want to do if it's a man blitz? Let's think about that first. So if this is a man blitz, I look at this matchup right here. I've got Dallas Goedert as the point man in a bunch, and the corner has outside leverage, so I think slant route. Okay, or we can do the same thing we talked about earlier. You can break this off at whatever angle you're comfortable with to get upfield, but you should be able to get an inside release here on an inside route. Now, that dies if we're bailing guys off the line of scrimmage. But if we're bailing guys off the line of scrimmage into coverage, all of a sudden we should have time to get this blocked up, and so we can have something else to develop. So this is a potential man beater. What if it's a zone blitz? Well, if it's a zone blitz, we've probably got this guy bailing deep, right? And we've got deep zone here. We've probably got a flat zone, and we've got somebody coming off the line here to be in the middle for like this fire zone. So we want to stretch the flat zone, and we could do it to either side, but I'll draw it to the top side here first. So here's our man beater. Let's talk about a zone beater. Let's stretch this flat zone. Let's send somebody out to the flat, running back out to the flat. Let's run a corner route. This guy can't cover both, right? High to low is how he should cover that. If he jumps the low route because it's a blitz and he's expecting pressure, well, we can still block this up reasonably well, right? We can block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can block with the tight end. We've got this potentially blocked up long enough for a corner route, right? Or we could do this to the other side. We can keep our man beater here. We can block Gainwell, and so we've still got 6 in protection, and we can go to the flat and a corner route. And there's other man beating or zone beating concepts, but that's what you try to do. You try to isolate this defender and see if you can beat him. So let's see what the Eagles do. Okay, so the Eagles are going to keep Gainwell into block. So in theory, we've got the numbers to block this up. Wait, we don't. What happened? Let me rewind. So we have the safety walking down. Okay, so this safety also comes on the blitz. And so they're +1 in the blitz. And this is where you've got to have the ball out fast, right? I'm going to guess that, yeah, this looks like man coverage. This guy is probably, let's back it up again. This safety is green dogging, would be my my guess here. He's your green dog, which means he's in man coverage on the running back if he went out. Since he doesn't, he's blitzing. So we're still +1 on the blitz. So man coverage. Let's see if my slant route to Dallas Goedert's open. You tell me. Can Hurts make this throw if this is a slant and we're looking for it? It's not rocket science. Like, it's really not. It does not have to be this difficult to beat the blitz. But where is Hurts supposed to go with this ball? It looks like they want to try to run something right here. This is maybe their man beater. He doesn't do a good enough job of pushing this vertically. He doesn't create any separation. Hurts could try to tag this in here on the hash. Like, I would rather him do that than what he does. But I don't know. Like, Dallas Goedert's your best route runner on the field. Why don't we scheme this up to him when he's got an inside leverage here versus this where we're lined up straight up on him? Goedert's open. Like, if we're running this, if he's on a corner route, Goedert's wide open. And Goedert's going to catch this, and he's probably going to run for 15 yards. It doesn't have to be hard, guys. Just, it doesn't have to be this hard, but the Eagles provide no answers to the blitz for their quarterback. And whether that be because, you know, I put a tweet up on Twid. Wow, that was really bad. Let me try to say that statement again. I put a thread up on Twitter talking about this. And to my mind, there's only 4 potential explanations here. So if you think that Jalen Hurts, I know you guys saw the things that people put out, that people are saying about how Phillip Rivers had hot routes, you know, when they were playing in 2020 in Indianapolis with Nick Sirianni. And yeah, I mean, I can confirm from film that Hurts and Phillip Rivers are different quarterbacks. Like, yes. Here's the thing. Like, if Hurts can throw a slant on an RPO, which he does, then he can throw a slant against the blitz. Like, he can physically make that throw. So it's not that he physically can't do it. If your argument is he can't see the blitz pre-snap, I mean, look at the ones I just showed you. Are those hard to see pre-snap? Like, those aren't hard to see. It's not some exotic look with a guy coming from 8 yards deep. They're blatantly telegraphed. And so if he can't see that, and I do not think that's the case, what is the coach doing? Point this out to him in a film room and he can learn it. I don't think this is the case, though. If, you know, maybe your argument is that Hurts doesn't want hot routes because, again, we go back to that first play where he's able to get outside of the pocket and they see that as a way, Hurts sees that as a way to beat the blitz and get big plays. If that's true, if that's coming from Hurts, then Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson need to be the grown-ups in the room and tell him, no, that's not how NFL offense works. And if it's coming from the top down to Hurts, they need to grow up because that's not how you handle the blitz. And then the final one, I've seen people say Hurts is so jumpy in the pocket. That's why you can't have hot routes. If that's true, and that's probably got the most validity of anything, but is Hurts jumpy in the pocket because he has no answers, or does he have no answers because he's jumpy? Like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? But if they're not putting it in the offense because he's jumpy, then his coaches are doing him a major disservice by enabling him to further ingrain bad habits instead of coaching him to work on the weakness. When I coached high school basketball and you get a kid that can't drive left, we didn't scheme up every play for him to go right. We got in the gym and we worked on the left. No matter which option you think it is an indictment on the coaching staff. It is a very poor look for a coaching staff to not give Hurts answers to the blitz, not force him to take them if he doesn't want to. Like, the entire point of coaching is to help players become better, and none of that is happening. Every answer to the blitz is Jalen, just do something crazy and bail us out. So anyways, there we go. First ever live film breakdown, because I wanted to be able to talk through these plays as I did them with you guys without, you know, to the best, these plays are familiar to me, but without knowing exactly what's happening because I just watched it. So you guys let me know if you liked this. Hopefully this is a little bit instructive of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about building in answers to the blitz and why I just think this is ultimately a coaching issue. So thank you guys for joining in. some comments here rolling in from Gerald. Appreciate you joining. From Christopher, love your content. I screenshot your stuff to my buddy all day Monday. You guys are the best. I really enjoy what I get to do. Anthony, thanks for stopping by. I love getting to do stuff like this and interact with you guys. So it truly makes my day. And I know that's lacked a little bit on Twitter as I've been trying to move and a lot of things going on the last week or two. But thank you guys for joining in. If you've got questions watching this on archive, feel free to DM me, to tag me in comments, and I'll try to get back with you guys. So I'll catch you guys next time.